Okay, we're gonna start tonight with a public hearing, ordinance, 2026-23. An ordinance amending subsection C, maximum garage floor area of section 1270.09, required house sizes of the codified ordinances of the city of Pepper Pike. So I'm gonna turn it over to Jackie from our council rep on the planning commission. This has been before the council a couple times. We kicked it down to the planning commission to do some more work. And now the planning commission has done what they're gonna do. And you can tell us where we're at.
Yeah, I would say we are floating in a little bit of limbo. We discussed it, and I touched on this briefly last week, where it turned into a bigger discussion about sort of looking at lots holistically, and if we wanted to think about potential tree ordinances and just general permeability of the lot as a whole. So we didn't really end up making any sort of recommendation. I think the intention, I believe the mayor asked George Merrigan to draft something that would, the garage would be a piece of it potentially, but really looking at things more holistically. So I anticipate he'll bring that back to us, sometime soon, and then we can further that discussion.
So are we gonna need another public hearing if we change it quite a bit from the planning commission? Or is this gonna be good?
Well, if you're gonna adopt this hearing is sufficient. If you remand it back to the planning commission,
Is that what we're gonna do?
Yeah, I was not anticipating this ordinance coming for a vote to council.
It's not gonna be a vote to council tonight. This
Okay.
is just the public hearing for it. So if it's gonna go back, we don't need the public hearing, right? Or do you want-
That's correct. You can do a different date. You have to give notice.
I'll tell you what, though, we have people here, so, we'll go with, are you good?
That's it.
All right, we'll go with anybody for public comments. We'll open the floor for public comments on that ordinance.
Do we need to recap what it is? Or did we just do that?
Jackie just did.
Sorry.
Well, the actual ordinance itself was basically more of a formula. So right now the max square footage for a garage is 1,000 square feet, and then the new proposal basically takes into account like house size and a percentage of that with a minimum instead of a maximum. And we just talked about you have to sort of play out many different scenarios to say like, okay, in a house, like a 2-story house, what does that look like? And if you have just like a sprawling ranch, what does that look like? And that was what led into the bigger conversation. So the ordinance as listed was the one that we discussed, where it was just like, here's a formula to calculate maximum garage size. And I do not anticipate that moving to council as a vote unless someone else wants to make that happen.
All right. Anybody else, any more questions for me? Okay, any public comments? We're open for public comments.
On that one.
On that ordinance, correct. Because the meeting hasn't started yet.
The meeting.
Okay, public comments are closed, so that is done. Now we'll call the council meeting of August 26th to order. Roll, please.
Mr. Schmidt?
Here.
Ms. Swords? Here. Mr. Moe?
Here.
Ms. Goda? Here. Mr. Lemay?
Here.
Mr. Gentili?
Here.
Colonel Metz?
Here. Next will be the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm going to ask Rich Ferguson to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. For those who don't know, Rich, before he was a very successful project manager, was a B-52 pilot in the Air Force during the Cold War and during the Gulf War, and spent many a night on the North Pole in a flying cap. Okay, Rich, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, we will now open the floor for audience comments. Do we have any?
All right.
Name, please.
Sure. Benjamin Grossman Poneman over on 28325 Belfort Road.
Okay.
Howdy, everyone. You probably know what I'm going to say. So just again, this is regarding ordinance 2026-24 regarding increased compensation for Mayor Bain. So I just want to remind everyone here that Ohio State Law, Section 731.07, states that the salary of any officer of a city shall not be increased or diminished during the term in which he was elected or appointed. Now, I understand that you're going through an alternative venue for that, changing the public safety director, but I ask as you consider this vote, to think about why that law exists. Why did they bother drafting that law if essentially it's, fine to be changing mayor salaries midterm? This is not a comment about should the mayor have an increased salary. Is it fair that he has not had a salary change since 2019? That has nothing to do with my point here. It's simply just the law states that the mayor's compensation shall not be increased during his term, and I question why the council would want to go through an alternative avenue on that. So thank you.
Okay, anybody else?
Grace Barber, 33,000 Shaker Boulevard. Tonight, council is looking at a 60% raise for the mayor as a workaround of our city charter, the same charter that our mayor stated he would quit if it was changed. Newly elected council should reconsider their fiduciary and ethical responsibilities to us, the residents, and vote against this. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? All right, audience comments are closed. Next, we go to item 4, which is approval of the council minutes of July 15th and July 22nd, 2026 for both. I'll take a motion on July 15th minutes.
So moved. Second.
Any comments or questions? Call the roll.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
Ms. Swords,
Yes.
Mr. Modi.
Yes.
Ms. Godin. Yes. Mr. Lemay.
Yes.
Mr. Gentili.
Yes.
Colonel Rice.
Yes. I'll take a motion for minutes on July 26th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Call the roll.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
Ms. Swords,
Yes.
Mr. Modi.
Yes.
Ms. Godin.
Yes.
Mr. Lemay.
Yes.
Mr. Gentili.
Yes.
Colonel Rice.
Yes. All right, we'll go next to committees and department heads. Communications committee met, I believe.
Yeah, I would have shared this last week, but I was traveling for work. So when the communications committee met, most recently, what we primarily were looking at, we had a really tight agenda. It was just about if we recommended comms hire to this group here, what does that look like? What would the scope of that be? So in our first meeting for next month, we'll be sharing that with the council on what our recommendation is as far as what type of communications hire we're recommending, the hours associated with that type of role potentially, and then we will be asking to do a bit of due diligence on, we have a suggested pay range,
Okay.
but that's just us as a committee with the starting point.
So you're looking at an FTE or part-time or contract?
We are proposing a fractional hire for 12 months that if it all goes well, then would be considered for full-time
Okay.
recruitment. So I will be sharing a lot about that next week, and that is pretty much the only thing we really covered and went deep on that topic this month.
All right. Finance committee met
Tonight,
tonight.
so the finance committee met this evening and we reviewed with the treasurer, the June and July reports. Happy to say we're tracking very well for revenue. And expenditures were within budgets. We are noticeably spending money on our capital projects as planned, but we are definitely spending money. Thank you.
All right, department heads, chief, either chief.
Nothing new on my end.
All right, Chief Frazier,
Nothing new.
finance.
No.
Service director.
Okay, I'll go.
All right.
This Saturday, we're movie in the park. This was canceled last weekend due to the rain. So weather's looking favorable for us on Saturday at dusk. The movie is The Wild Robot animated film from 2024. And September is branch chipping month. We will be starting on the 1st, Tuesday, September 1st, because I know this is the full week, but we don't have a full week. The long week after that is Labor Day on the 7th also. So we're starting on September 1st with branch chipping. That's all I have.
Good. All right, city engineer.
Nothing new to add. Project-wise, we do have 2 items that are on the agenda for bids that were submitted.
All right. And that closes that out. Item 6, motion to award the Cedar Trail Expansion 2 and authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with DRS Enterprises, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $630,100. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, discussion.
I would be curious, Don, if you could talk a little bit about this in conjunction with item 7 and the two different contractors.
You know, we had, the low bids for both contracts for DRS Enterprises. DRS was about, $40,000 or $50,000 lower than the second low on the first contract. And there was a delta of about $4,000 on the second contract. They're both, DRS is a competent and capable contractor to do the work. I have no problem recommending them. They had 90 days to complete the second one and first one. And my preference would be to just have them use them on one contract, so do not split them into two jobs. And we have, for the second project, the second low is a 50-day timeline, and it's a very competent contractor. We do it before it passed. So my recommendation is to use DRS for this first one, this first motion, and to go with the second one.
So does that mean that that time to complete would be shorter than, is this just a one contract?
They still would have the 90 days to
Yeah.
complete, however, I don't, if there are any variables, bad weather, whatever, that would only hurt us, especially with two contracts. So I'm trying to, I don't want to say hedge my bets, but I think just having the one would be good. Also, that particular contract has a couple items where there's more, some heavy duty stuff going across the culvert on Cedar. They're a bigger entity as far as having the equipment, so I think they're something for that contract too. And from a city standpoint, I think economically it's.
And then have both of these companies have either one of them done any of the existing walkways
Allega
or other work?
Allega did the Shaker project.
Okay,
DRS, we had not used them recently. They do a lot of their own, they do a lot of work all over Northeast Ohio, and they do restoration work on the sidewalks, driveways, and trails.
So they do sidewalks because there was resident concern that they don't have experience with trails or sidewalks. So I wanna make sure I understand that.
Yeah, that, I saw the email, but that's not really the case. There's lots of projects where they do the work, and the focus of the project is that they've installed, 2 miles of water main. They've also done all the restoration on top of it. They just don't highlight it as something that they feature, but they are capable.
So that's why you're saying you have no reservations.
No problem.
And given that for the next motion, I don't talk out of school here, but the next motion, you folks will need to find, if you're bypassing the lowest bid, you should expressly find that the Allega is lowest and best, because that is the legal standard. And so I recommend a vote on this if you think it's appropriate. And then for the next motion, Sheila should take it down as a motion to find the Anthony Allega Cement Contractor Inc. to be the lowest and best bid and to authorize.
All right.
But that's for the next item.
Yep, gotcha. Any other questions or concerns on this one? Let's call the roll.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Ms. Swords?
Yes.
Mr. Modey?
Yes.
Ms. Godin?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Gentili? Colonel Rice?
Yes. Okay, next, we're going to go to motion to award the Brainerd North Trail Expansion 2 and authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with Anthony Allega Cement Contractor, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $508,822.50. A motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Questions for Don?
That motion should include, maybe at the end of it, finding it to be the lowest and best.
All right.
Indeed, what's written.
Go back to
So
Mr. Schmidt.
moved to fix the lowest and best.
Which is Allega.
Can we just
Oh, I
do,
have to say Allega.
Well, no, as long as everybody understands.
can we just do a quick rundown? We've got, this one passes, we've got 4 trails, right?
Correct.
Can we just do a rundown of the ETA completion for each?
Yeah, I can do it, but then I'll let Don do it, because it's in the contract that when's their start date and the days to complete are all in the contract. So he can
Yeah,
give that
the
to you.
two that are underway right now, they were 90 days to complete. They started in August, so director will be in November, they should be done. The two that we're awarding now, one will be 50 days and the other will be 90 days. And Thanksgiving time. And that's for substantial completion. The likelihood that there might be some grass and touch-ups and minor things to take care of is likely, but the trail itself should be complete.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else have any questions on this one? All right, let's call the roll.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Ms. Swords? Yes. Mr. Bodie?
Yes.
Ms. Godek? Yes. Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Chantilly? Colonel Ritz?
Yes. Okay, that passes. Item number 8, motion authorizing the service director to purchase and upfit a 2026 service utility vehicle. Over to you, John.
Okay, thank you. This unit is what we're looking at for clearing our trails in wintertime, but we were also looking for a multi-purpose vehicle to use year-round. What was budgeted in capital would be an expensive snow removal piece of equipment that's always used for. So we're looking for something we use all year round. We sampled 5 different types of units and feel this one is the best for what we currently need.
So-
What brand is it?
It's an Avant. Yes.
Is it like an SUV or?
It's an articulated tractor. It's kind of like a mini loader. It'll come with snow blower attachment, plow attachment, also with a grapple to use so when we're doing our branch chipping to be able to break things off the street.
So you're gonna purchase it based on our award tonight. How much money?
Total is just under 122,000
Okay,
for all
so,
attachments.
and who's the vendor?
It's Columbus Equipment.
Okay,
No, that was, but this item was budgeted or something like it was? budgeted?
Like this was budgeted this item.
Just for a place?
Yes,
How old is the old one?
we don't have one.
we don't have one. This is to
Since we
do
just
the-
have sidewalks
Do the
now.
sidewalks, the snow blower of the sidewalks,
Thank you.
and he's getting
It's
extra
measured.
attachments to go with it.
Within the dollar amount of the items he puts.
It's not replacing any item. It's a new
But you said-
unit. There's no replacement because we've never had sidewalks.
What was
You said
this?
there was something that you weren't buying and you were buying this instead. And
So in
No.
the budget,
No, not that we're
in the
not.
budget, we had a budget item to get a snow blower for the sidewalks. And that same amount of money, he's gonna use to get this unit, and it does more things.
that was the question, if the amount of money was more or less. or
It's the same amount
That's
of
what
money.
was in the budget.
It's the same amount of
Do you
money.
know what the budget line item was? How much it was?
For the unit,
It was
for the budget,
In the budget.
in the budget was 120.
Oh, okay.
wasn't, that wasn't part of the budget when that was all done.
We added it like
We added
right
it
at
after
the
We
end.
added it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We approved it as we were approving
Yeah.
the budget, the extra 120 for the snow.
Where do you buy this from?
The Columbus Equipment.
Direct?
Yeah.
Not a deal.
No, they are certified Avant dealer.
So is it on the lot now?
Yes,
So we'll get it
yes.
quickly.
What are you said it's multi-purpose, so you mentioned like the snow blower, the plow,
These units come with
what
over
else?
200 attachments.
Is this bid, it's $125,000 you're spending?
What's that?
You're spending $125,000? Is it state bid or is,
It's on Sourcewell.
so that's the equivalent of state bid? It's a cooperative. It's permitted to do that. Yes.
It's got
There's multiple attachments with these
He
units.
said it has a reticulating arm, so they can pick up.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand like other practical use cases, for
Yeah,
like how it would be used.
Like our branch chipping, there's piles that we come across that we can't pull by hand. We have a John Deere tractor with a grapple right now. Sometimes we have to drive up on the lawns with it to pick up. This has an extended arm with the grapple on it that'll pick the branches up from the street, so we're not fixing yards after we turf. There's mowing attachments that come with it for side, side 91, say, for mowing over there. We don't have anything right now. We use our zero-turn mowers.
Does it do the pickup?
Yeah.
I think the storage is the bigger
We
issue.
still don't have a place-
Disposal's the
Not
issue
for the
there, right?
quantity that we have here.
We still have a place to put them. So, when do I say so moved?
Do we have a motion?
Yeah, I would recommend a motion to expend a certain amount. What was the amount?
Under 120.
Up to 125,000 and state the vendor's name also.
And Columbus
Columbus
Equipment using Sourcewell.
Yes.
All right, Is that
So
that
moved.
Sourcewell?
Schmidt moves. Second. Jackie second.
Okay, any more questions, concerns? All right, let's call the roll.
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt, Ms. Swords,
Yes.
Mr. Modi,
Yes.
Ms. Golden,
Yes.
Mr. Levin.
Yes.
Mr. Gentile.
Yes.
Colonel Rice.
Yes. Okay, item number 9, motion for the service director to sell a Kubota scooter on Gov Deals. Back to John again. I think I've asked before, do we need to give him permission to sell equipment?
Yeah, if it's over a certain amount, the charter requires council's authority to do that.
Okay.
Or the codified ordinances.
What
Let
would
me
the
pull
amount
that up
be?
real quick. I think it's 5,000.
Okay. 'Cause I'm just like, we should be able to, the staff should just be able to sell and use equipment.
Yeah, the trouble is you don't always know what you're gonna get on GovDeals.
And that's why I
Well,
wanted to put on.
So this is out of an
council, right, 'cause-
abundance of.
Well, here's the other deal, the other thing I think we discussed, do we have to use Gov Deals, or can we eliminate that and let him go with however he can best
He can
get
have,
more money?
you can use the discretion of the
And
administration.
you've sold to other cities like Highland Hills.
Yeah, so I'm gonna strike the Gov Deals part on that and let the administration find the best way. I think I've told you my story before, as a city manager, I used a number of ways to sell. I parked equipment on the front lawn and just like a used car lot and got more money than the Gov
Just
Deals.
passing around is prohibited from on parking.
So.
Not on the grass.
So on this motion, I'm
Pavement.
gonna strike the Gov Deals. So, any other questions? Go ahead.
This is for one of our rubbish scooters, the transmission failed on it, and the cost to repair is almost over a third of what we purchased for, so just.
So you're not gonna get much
putting
more.
Good money in something that. we're recycling.
A high school auto shop.
Thank
But
you.
we might even, if it's gonna be a really low amount, we might find something like that and donate it. I think we would be okay
Yeah,
with
they're-
that.
Those units, I mean, you could put on for $1,000, it might sell for $6. It's people come
Okay.
from all over the place to get these.
All right.
I think I missed, why are we selling it?
The transmission's failed on it, and it's not worth the cost of repairs.
And those are the ones that go up the
Up the
driveway?
driveways, yes. This is why we get one every year, because of the wear and tear that they.
Will we have a shortage without this one?
No, we are currently using our newest one now that was serving as the spare.
How many you got?
6. But one sits out here, so.
I agree with eliminating Gov Deals, because we should always sell it to whoever's gonna give us the most money.
Exactly.
I think Jim had agreed to that at one point, so this might be.
Yeah,
I don't want that at all.
Just an
Open
old.
your aperture, that's fine. Okay, so do you have a motion?
Thank you.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any other questions? Let's call the roll.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
Ms. Swords,
Yes.
Mr. Modi,
Yes.
Ms. Golden,
Yes.
Mr. Levin,
Yes.
Mr. Gentile, Colonel Rice.
Yes. All right, next item is resolution 2026 TAC 29, a resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor. We do not need to declare an emergency, right? Because this is a resolution and not an ordinance.
Yes.
Okay, so the last,
Well, no. The emergency clause allows it to go into effect immediately. The
All right.
free reading rule is what you
all
suspend.
right,
And
so
so
we'll
we
still
can leave
declare an
it.
emergency. Okay. Do I have a motion?
Do we get more explanation?
We can do that
Finance
after a
director
motion.
before we make a motion?
We can.
Yeah.
All right.
This is a resolution that allows us to levy property taxes every year. We do not pass this, we will not get our property taxes every year, so it's a mandatory piece of legislation that we do by resolution typically. This shows really the mills we have, both by charter, inside mills, and then there is also our voted levy with the fire department. This is really the same as it's been since I've been here last year and the years before, so we're not increasing or decreasing any rates here. These are the same as they've been levied, and the
Well,
county
goodness.
requires us, so we'll make sure that we do this every year.
I do move that we should collect property taxes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other questions, comments? Let's call the roll.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Ms. Swords? Yes. Mr. Moody?
Yes.
Ms. Godet?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Gentil?
Yes.
Colonel Rice?
Yes. Thank you. Okay, the next item, item 11, ordinance 2026 TAC 30, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement for the grant funds for the city of Pepper Pike, CCSA Pepper Pike Ainsworth Drive Culvert Repair Project, and declaring an emergency and its first reading, and it's an ordinance. So we're good there. I'm going to turn it over to Don. Two comments, Don. First of all, I got the chart. I want you to show us where we're going and how it overlays, but this has not been in front of the infrastructure committee. So I just kind of want to know why we're getting this now and the infrastructure committee hasn't seen it.
Okay, yeah, this is, this really doesn't have anything to do with sanitary sewer, but the street Ainsworth Drive, which is between, off of Land Road, between Cedar and Fairmount, right there. There's a culvert on the street that the service department has come out to answer a complaint about it. There's a head wall on culvert that's tilted on occasion, big storms, a road underneath them, undercut them, and sometimes there's something that shifts and is addressed. The community cost share program through the sewer district, we put money, people pay their fee, their stormwater fee. They've set aside 25% of the money that comes from Pepper Pike to address problems like this. So it's a source for us to use. It's 100% funded by this funding source. And we identify, and we do have money building up in the account, so.
So we have a bank account with them and we're not going to draw it down below.
No, as a matter of fact, it's kind of a use it or lose it after 5 years.
So we need to go find some more projects.
Well, we do have some buffer in the account. It's nice to use it for, we could use it really for any storm project, but this is one that came up and we decided it would be a good applicant for this funding.
So since, and this is a different question, since the sidewalk is going over that culvert on Cedar, could we use CCSA to help?
No, there's nothing wrong with the storm system there.
Except we're gonna do some things to make it,
Well, no, I mean,
we have to make it
yeah,
so it
it's,
still works the right way.
right. I think this is really lends itself well to rebuilding the storm line that collapses.
Okay.
Or if really any, there's stream protection that we could do, or road protection if we had something that had been done in a park. That involves.
So
the
are you guys
stream.
gonna do the work and then request reimbursement, or do you get the check first?
This is set up as a reimbursement,
Do you
so
have a contract for it
we would put together,
or in-house?
this pays for everything, including engineering, so.
So how
we
much
put
do
the
you think
plans
this one
together.
is?
This is probably, you get 3 quotes, and it's probably under $50,000.
So you're not gonna have to come back to us, we do this tonight, you're good?
Well, we'll see when we see what
Okay.
the numbers come into, but it could be something where we get 3 quotes and go with the best
All right,
contract.
okay.
What is the funding source then?
It's regional sewer district. It comes out of their stormwater funds. It's a community cost share program, and they have an account that builds up. They put about there's about $90,000 a year that goes into for Pepper Pike for storm related projects.
Okay.
And we did use it for a few things in the past.
Sounds like a good source for me.
Yeah, and it doesn't cost, the net is it doesn't cost the city anything. If for whatever reason it goes over the 79,000, we can go back and get it this and that.
Okay. All right, any other questions? Let's take a motion to suspend, please, so we can get this done tonight.
So moved.
Call the roll?
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Ms. Swords? Yes. Mr. Moody?
Yes.
Ms. Godet?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Gentil?
Yes.
Colonel Rice?
Yes. Now, a motion to approve.
So moved.
Call the roll?
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Ms. Swords? Yes. Mr. Moody?
Yes.
Ms. Godet?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Gentil?
Yes.
Colonel Rice?
Yes. Okay, next item is ordinance 2026-24, an ordinance amending the compensation of the Director of Public Safety of the City of Pepper Pike, directing the payment of back pay, and third reading. Discussion. Mr. Lemay at the last meeting you said you wanted to do some more research on this. What do you have for us?
Yeah, so I'm quite concerned about the drafting of this ordinance as it sits right now, because the whereas clauses, in it, particularly the whereas clause next to last, it talks about the current combined annual compensation. And it appears that we're being very explicit about giving the mayor a pay raise by that language, which our charter forbids us from doing. And so I think this is rather explicit violation of our charter, the way this is set up and drafted. So that's a concern that is a concern, because if it's not lawful to do so, then it's void and we can't make any payments under it.
Which whereas are you talking about?
The next to the last one,
That's what I thought. But it says the annual compensation. It doesn't say anything about the raise in there. It
well,
just
the current
it
combined
just-
compensation is $47,000 short from the
We
target
can delete
compensation.
it, but I think it just clarifies how much he makes in
Well-
total, because our budget tells us how much he makes.
But it follows the narrative, and then the last whereas basically says, this is what we did, and now we're gonna make it explicit what we did.
So what do you want it to change? it to?
I'm
Just tell me what
It's
you
a
tell.
question for the law director that, doesn't this language make it explicit that we're violating our charter by passing this?
I don't believe it does, because the positions are still separately identified. I have no problem with removing the second to last paragraph. It was, people are usually in favor of sunshine on
Well,
the explicit
I think
issues.
that was just to delineate, so everybody knows what the current overall compensation is and what's broken down to the office of the mayor and what's broken down to the director.
And the prior discussion of this body has said we should be out of the business of having the director of public safety and the mayor separately
And
compensated.
that's why we have the last one in there, because, we've talked about that at length. That whatever we do next spring, prior to filing period for the next mayor's race in 2027, is to eliminate the director of safety, public safety position, and just pay the mayor the salary. And then our intent, or my intent and others, is to put a permanent or a COLA in there that's tied to Social Security COLA, so that the first of every year, that whatever mayor it is gets whatever the Social Security COLA is, which is very common in the public sector. And that's a discussion for next year, but we just want that in there so everybody knows what the intent is going forward. This is a one-time fix of the public safety director's salary.
Yeah, the other comments are just the whereas clause. I mean, I don't know if you can unring the bell, you've already proposed this, but unintended compensation gap from persisting for the director of public safety. As far as I know, we have no data on what public safety director should be compensated, so I don't know how we know there's a gap. We only have mayor salary data.
There was analysis and discussion as to what the cost of living would have been had it been applied over the years. The numbers have changed, but the failure to adjust the public safety director's compensation has created the gap between what inflation has done and where the salary currently
But my
is.
point is, we have no data on what that number should be as a public safety.
I think the.
Well, I'm
the
talking
original-
about the inflation rate since 2019.
In the original data we got, that's like the first spreadsheet we got, and Melissa Scala did break out positions.
The rest of the ordinance talks about how there hasn't been any adjustment, cost of living adjustment. And then there's the median salary, so that combined.
My real concern is that a fair reading of this says it looks like we're giving them their pay raise. That's not what we want to be, not what we would want in an ordinance. And I just to make the same comments I made last time, I think tying this to income of our residents is just not the right way to compensate this position. It should be compensated based on the scope, span of control, the workload,
the expertise, the complexity.
So what number would you pick?
We have.
I mean, you have a lot of experience, what number would you
Well,
pick?
as I said before, we have some partial data on comparables, but it's not complete. It had a lot of outliers in there, so I can't give you a good picture.
We've had 5 months, you've looked at a lot of places, I mean, you're
Well,
doing more
so
research.
what I asked for some time ago was a professional survey with comparables with Size City. We got some of that, but not all of that. So I'm
You
like,
also mentioned in a meeting that you're gonna talk to your, whoever used to work for you.
no, I said there are people out there who did that. I'm long retired, so I don't know who they are anymore, but I think there are sources who could give us definitive salary data on comparable that would make a very rational decision based on, and those jobs compare like jobs in similar size cities, similar span of control, similar budget, similar number of employees.
And that was, I believe, proposed and no one seconded the motion to.
And I'd like to say that, I'm on the other side of the fence where I'm still concerned about the approach of analyzing comparatives. Where, there isn't a marketplace for mayors, like you might go to a marketplace for service directors. We can't hire somebody that lives in another city. We are limited to our residents. We are asking our future mayor to step out of whatever private role they currently have and forfeit whatever that compensation is that they're getting. And so that's why I see it if we want to attract, good candidates, I think it's very constructive to tie it to the median income.
But looking at public comparables, you take into account two things. Is you have a broad range of cities that have reached different conclusions, some up, some down, but you start to get a sense of where people are on that. And I don't compare this position, I've never compared this position to the private sector, because there's the public service element, and up and down the compensation of elected officials from top to bottom. The span of control, the complexity of jobs. The governor of the state of Ohio, I think, makes 170. He's got an $8 billion budget. If we were in private industry, he wouldn't be making 175. He's attracted to the role for reasons of public service. And so just to assume that we have to raise the pay to a median income to attract qualified candidates for a job that is public service, I think that's unfounded. If you look, let me finish. If you look the last time we had a contested mayoral election here, we had Mayor Payne and Rick Taft. Both very qualified candidates, they both have a history of public service, and the pay was $55,000. And it was a long time ago, but still, it wasn't commensurate. But we got two very strong candidates to run, even with that pay. So simply to presume in a public service role, we need to pay at that level, I don't think we have any evidence or data for that.
Well, I mean, I just can't fathom that we're gonna get anybody other than the wealthy or the retired.
Well, we got Rick Bain and Rick Taft.
The wealthy.
The wealthy.
Yeah.
Not, well, I would, well, if you, maybe you know more about the financials than I do, but
I actually agree. I don't think we're getting anyone to the wealthy retired based on the past. And even if we make this, I still think that's what we're gonna get. That's my fear.
You're fearful of the old guys?
No, he's fearful that even if we made the salary $160,000 a year, we're still not going to get people to step out of
Yeah,
their
but what I talked about
private
before
sector
is
responsibility.
so if you're, so I'm a 60-something, so let's talk about 40-something. A 40-something making 180 grand a year. You go, man, I really think I could do a great job as the mayor. It's only paying 82.5. It's not, you're just going, I'm working today, I got kids, colleges coming up. But if it's 130, 140, you're gonna go, you know what, I think I can probably make it work.
And there is a reality that our cost of living here at Pepper Pike is driven up by our 1 acre minimum that we're paying property taxes on, as we approved this evening.
I think this conversation highlights the difficulty in really pinning down what the magical number is, because it's different for everyone. So I just keep going back to Mano's comments a couple meetings ago when he said, you're never gonna get 7 people to agree on a number at any given time, and just pick something, vote on it.
By definition, that's being arbitrary.
It's not if you're taking into, we all have an idea in our head of, like, given our experiences, what that right number is. And we have data from Melissa that we've looked at. We have all this information from surrounding communities. We are taking that and looking through our Pepper Pike lens, through our personal experience lens, and saying, okay, what would it take for someone to potentially want to run for mayor of Pepper Pike? And I mean, I think there'd be a big benefit to hopefully widening that candidate pool.
And I'd be in favor of the median income. Maybe that's too much tonight. Maybe we just do a COLA tonight, and then as we fix the whole piece and get, and I think the only thing we all agree on is that the safety director position was created by not Pepper Pike, by all the cities around us, as a way to change the salary of the CEO in off years. In other words, instead of waiting every 4 years to get a raise, the public safety director would get raises consistent with the other department heads. And that has not happened, by the way. That has not, and I understand the public concerns about this, but we're clearly within the law to raise the safety director's salary. There's no doubt that that's clear and lawful as the position exists. And the ethical argument, I could take offense at it, but I'm not going to. I call it sad and disappointing that we've gone down that path. And especially on social media, Jackie made such a point that this was her idea last year, and it came up this year to this council, that the CEO of the city that has been very successful has not had a raise since 2019. He's probably done 3 union contracts with raises in that 7-year period. He's done raises for the department heads, and the CEO just has been kept behind. Whatever reason that is, some council people didn't agree with the mayor and like him and didn't want to give him the raise like everybody else, whatever it is. But I see us not as doing something anti-ethical, but fixing something that has been broken since 2019. My opinion, if the department heads get a raise every year, the CEO of the city should get a raise every year. So you can, and ethically, you could say, as some people did on Facebook, look, it's unethical not to give the CEO a raise just because you have disagreements with him or don't like what he does, whatever that is. So I just throw that out. To answer your, we're not calling anybody bad people, and you can have your ethics opinions, but I've got 42 years of senior leadership experience and had to file ethical documents every single year, and I've had ethics training, and I look at this, and this is certainly not an ethical concern of mine at all. I wouldn't even go there. I went to, wow, okay, ethical concern, I never even thought of that. I thought this is righting a wrong that should have been fixed every single year since 2019.
Can I make 2 points?
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you saying your thoughts. It's really good and transparent. I think on the number part, right, I'm just reflecting. When we go downstairs and have to do an exec session to review and recommend all the departments' packages, right, it feels good because somebody is presenting to us all the homework they've done, right? So it's a very easy decision for us as council. So my wish would be we could have a similar construct for this exercise. That's why I made that motion a few meetings ago. That's one. And then I see your side, Colonel Rice, on the ethical law. I was also reflecting on this. right? We get in trouble if we send an email to all council, right? That's a violation of law, right? And so, to me, like, the state law is, we're not supposed to do this, right? This workaround was made years ago, not just by us, by many communities. But in my head, it's still to get around the law. I don't know, that doesn't feel right to me.
Well, there should be two things said about the state law, because it came up earlier. One is that the courts have held that compensation is a matter of local self-government. This means even the city of Parma, that doesn't have a charter, can make a determination without considering what the state statute says on this issue. So you have a matter of local self-government. It doesn't go to the policy of issue what they should. I'm just saying you have the legal authority to do so.
But our charter prohibits it, just like state law,
For the mayor.
for the mayor.
For the mayor.
So it's an explicit prohibition on raising the mayor's salary in our charter. And to do that is a violation of the charter.
If you're raising the mayor's compensation, the safety director is identified as a separate position with separate duties from the mayor. So, and that was a decision I believe you voted on back in the days. And so these, there's no question in my mind that this ordinance is legally permissible.
And you two guys voted on the safety director raise in 2019. I don't know what you voted, yes or no, but that was before the council, and it was approved by the council in 2019 to raise the safety director's pay. But it hasn't even been brought up by the council since then, which I think is personally that's wrong. I think the CEO, and right now, the CEO of the city is responsible, and we can talk part-time, full-time, there's emails floating around with that. He is not part-time, he is not full-time, he is 24/7. So I used the example last time, if we had a homicide in Lux, last year, we had a fatal vehicle mishap. This year, the first person that those two gentlemen in the back call, 1 in the morning, 3 in the morning, is the mayor, the CEO of the city. There's no job description. We can't make a job description. The charter tells us what the mayor's primary duties are. It seems wrong to me that you would say, well, let's make a full job description, then we can really start banging it off of other places to see what it is. So I've been a commanding officer twice, and no one told me explicitly what to do. It was how I decided to run the unit. If the people don't like how the mayor runs the city, they think he doesn't work hard enough, then people will vote him out. And if they like what he's doing, and whether he's working 20 or 80 hours, then they're gonna vote him in. So that mantle of leadership, there's no, I don't even wanna talk about part-time, full-time, it's called 24/7. And these two guys right here in the back know exactly what I'm talking about. And I know they don't want to get in the political argument tonight, but their first call, I know who it goes to. I guarantee you, I got those calls all the time at 2 in the morning. And that's just what it is what it is. And there's no one to tell you how to do that and how to handle that. So I just think, I think it's wrong that the CEO of the city, as the city has done so well and come along and kept going, it has not had a raise since 2019, while all the union folks have been under probably the third contract. We just did one this year, so you do the math. They're every 3 years, so it's probably been 3 union contracts. All the department heads continue to get pay raises. So I get it, and I don't like the work. I don't like the safety director mayor workaround. That's why I came. I think it was my proposal to eliminate the safety director position as we go forward before the next election. I said, pay the mayor and pay the mayor what he's worth. And let's put that Social Security type COLA in there. So now we wouldn't have to have these discussions every single year. And we won't have to because we won't have a safety director if we put that ordinance forward like that. It'll just be scalable. It'll be in there in perpetuity until a council changes. So kind of my feelings on that.
Colonel Rice, I love what you said. I totally agree. And I guess in the interest of trying to move things forward, does somebody have a new motion? I mean,
So whatever motion we'll
No,
do.
not you, Kurt.
Okay.
There's somebody else who has a different opinion from you. Does somebody have a new motion or not?
So let me ask you this question. Does somebody want to take a motion to amend the ordinance to remove the second to last paragraph of the preamble?
I don't know.
What's that?
I don't know if somebody else.
I'll make that motion, because I'm good with that, Mr. Romaine, I think that's fine. I think it tells more of a story, but that's okay, we can live without it. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, so the discussion was to remove the second last whereas on the front
This is
page.
whereas the current combined annual compensation of the officers of the mayor and director of public safety is $82,500 in numbers, representing a shortfall of $47,500 in numbers from the target compensation identified above.
Just taking out that combined.
Yeah, we're just taking that whereas out. So we'll call the roll, and this will not to be to pass this ordinance as it is, we'll just eliminate that paragraph, and then we'll get back to discussion on what we want to do about compensation. So we have a second, let's call the roll.
Mr. Schmidt,
No.
Ms. Swords,
Yes.
Mr. Moody,
No.
Ms. Godek,
Yes.
Mr. Lemay,
Yes.
Mr. Gentile.
What are we doing?
We're taking out,
Removing the
That
second to last paragraph.
Whereas,
And we have a no, yes. What was your vote?
we have
2 noes.
two no's so far and 3 yeses.
So it doesn't pass.
Now, I'm voting yes.
I'm sorry, how many votes are there?
There's 4,
There's-
4 yeses.
I'm
4
sorry,
yeses, 3 noes.
I'm
I'm
not-
thrown off, I apologize, I'm thrown off by the empty chair. I think
Yeah.
there's a-
No, but I'm
It's
going
4
last,
votes.
so that
Sorry.
passes, so that is struck. So now we can get back to discussion of
So,
compensation.
so back to the discussion is, does somebody have another motion? Like, and essentially I'm saying, did somebody have another idea about how to do this?
I feel like
Because I don't have a better idea.
it's getting like so overly complicated, and I've been trying to like untangle this.
Yeah.
So whether we agree or disagree on if the safety director should exist, which I think most people think we could get rid of it, it does exist now. And it is a role that has not gotten a cost of living increase. I'm trying to intentionally keep the mayor role separate from this.
Yeah.
Like if we look at the safety director role, whether you disagree or agree that it should exist, which I personally don't think it should exist, but that doesn't mean I think that the person serving that position doesn't deserve a cost of living. So the way that seems fair, just, and probably most aligned for what we're going for is that that safety director gets the cost of living to at least be comparable and kind of take into consideration how it's not grown. And then we do handle the mayor's salary on the cadence that it is determined, and
Okay.
then that's when we cut that position going forward.
So finance director, who's done a lot of work on this in the past, has probably looked at the COLA. Have you looked at the COLA before, Eric?
Well, I do had this analysis, which, so if we just did, I did, COLA on the combined salary.
Do you have like sources on this?
I do not have my source on this.
I think you PLS, isn't it?
So bottom line, 107K?
I have one extra copy of something. Here.
So we're removing this.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that's been removed.
So this was just something I sketched out. What if we, and I did, admittedly, the combined salary in today's, the combined salary which was set in 2019 in today's dollars.
Did you get the 107 something?
Correct. Which I get to the 107. Which may or may not be is slightly different than what you said.
Yes, that's what I was about to suggest, like if we're splitting up safety from mayor, then like shouldn't this be off the
Yep,
safety
so
base?
I didn't do that.
Right.
So somebody else would have to do that if that really was
I would
important to you.
suggest-
I was good with this, me personally.
Yeah.
I'm prepared to make this as a motion, as a path forward, because I didn't hear anybody else
I
propose a path
cannot-
forward.
Unless there's like sources on here, I'm not gonna, that's gonna hang me out.
So I could make a motion, maybe somebody seconds it.
The source of this is CPI, right?
Yeah,
So the source is BLS, right? Bureau of Labor Statistics?
I honestly don't. I just,
I think that's
yeah.
a little
So
problematic.
then,
Well, it's the CPI, which is produced, by you got the CPI, which is produced by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the BLS. Right? So if you're calling this the CPI,
yes,
which this actually looks pretty much right. Actually, you're calling it CPI in 19, CPI in 26. Your source has to be the BLS, because that's where it comes from.
And I want to trust, it's just hard without like
I don't know,
the
we can
actual
look it up
source
right now. We got-
documentation.
Let's look it up.
Actually, there are two different websites that I'm familiar with. One which is the US inflation calculator, and that's Point News Media Company, and then I have here the US Bureau of Labor Statistics.
So BLS is the gold standard.
And I don't know if you want to run the calculation
We
from.
can.
well, but part of it is to agree on a methodology.
Do you want
We
to
can
run the
agree- we can
calculation
agree.
on the current safety
That's
records?
part of the question. So me, I'm okay with doing the calculation on the combined.
I am too, because that's the compensation that you make.
I think that's where we start to teeter on like blatantly violating the charter. But like if we're talking purely safety director, like yes, I think that
Okay, so
warrants an increase.
So hold on, let me just say, the safety director, just to be transparent, was made to get around the charter. Period, right? Is there any question of that out loud here?
Well, I think the beg to differ that I do think that exercise, what it did was recognize that the original position of mayor had evolved. And it was accounting for some of the additional and more in-depth responsibilities that the person in the positions now had. So you could easily do the same thing with, community service director. I think you could create a community service director position, and we could say that Mayor Bain also holds the community service director position, and we could give that community service director a salary, because that's a position that has evolved well beyond what it was in the original mayor.
That's fine, but then why eliminate it, right?
Was it?
Then why eliminate it?
Because then we get into this kind of confusion in the future. And if we keep going down that route, then we'd want to spell out all the other, economic development director. I mean, how many other things are you going to parse out?
I mean, there's the deal, so.
Responsibility.
back
It was,
to-
I do believe it was a temporary, in an attempt to break out growth in the responsibilities so that they could assign a commensurate increase in the salary. That's my thought.
And it's been said that, the mayor position here does more than a mayor position in bigger cities, which is true. The mayor in a bigger city is gonna have more direct reports, but in this city, you're gonna have, in a bigger city, Shaker Heights, whatever, you're gonna have an economic development director, you're gonna have a communications director, you're gonna have a number of other things that the mayor does here. So, because you could go down that road all day, he's the economic and community development director. That's why I go, it's hard to define, the charter tells us what he does. And so we don't need a job description, because it's the CEO, and the CEO is gonna do what the CEO thinks is in the best interest of the city. I think I gave some examples of what I used to do when I was training officer here. I spent more time outside in community engagement than I did running the base.
You don't gotta
So
convince me of
it's
that kind of stuff. I agree with this. Mayor role in the pepper flag. Make it plain and simple, does a lot.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
and needs to be paid according to what that a lot is, right? And we all have 7 ideas of what that is. Directionally, we're going in the right direction,
We are going
right? I think the key question is, okay, maybe it's just to be done. Do we do it Jan 1, 2026? Or do we do it Jan 1, 2028?
I think Jan 1, 2026, because it shows good faith effort for this council, because previous councils have not kept up to speed with our pure, and again, I'll go back and I'm sorry about repeating myself, but I think we're all in agreement on what we need to do next spring to really fix it, right? I think we're all in agreement on that. So
So,
the
okay,
question is, how do we bridge that to make it fair for the CEO who hasn't had a raise since 2019?
so the scope of this dialogue right now is for Jan 1, 2026 to December 31, 2026.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yes,
And that's it.
that's it. So that's exactly, and then,
Well, if I could make the recommendation, if you're addressing the full compensation package, you're gonna have next year as well. So unless you want to revisit this exact discussion for
well, right now,
January
we
of
have,
this
we
year.
have it for the same raise for 2026 and 27, so it's not even all of
Right.
that. This will cover both years.
So the answer to your, okay,
Yeah.
so I was not clear, I thought you were asking if it was just for 2026, what it would be for.
Yeah, it's for both years.
The next.
So do we have a number?
Well, I made a motion on this number, the 107.
So
It's 107 to 754
the
46.
motion on the table is, and so we gotta do the math, Steve, to see what the raise for the safety director would be based on that,
On 107,
the number.
107, 745.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I don't hear anybody seconding.
I'll second it,
Okay.
so we can go into discussion. So we're
Let's
just
say you're
working,
comfortable with
So,
your sources, I
I'm-
mean, it's, I'm on the
what's
NEOS website right now, it's like, there's a calculator.
Yeah, I mean, that's what
You
I'm,
plug in and stuff.
So the difference, the increase would be 25, 545.
okay, so that's what we're voting on, an increase of 25.45 for the safety director. So we have a first and we have a second discussion.
You're amending the ordinance
Yes.
to say, can you give me the language in here where, so where would that go?
Yeah, so the, what I would recommend is make a motion to authorize me to amend the ordinance to pick up the language. The idea is that taking the existing service safety director's compensation and adding 25,245 to that. I believe it's
Well, do we have to actually state the math in the motion? I mean,
No.
you'll fix the math,
No,
right?
yes.
So the
It's-
motion
it's
is,
to
yes,
give-
with the
I'll have the finance director calculate the
with the
numbers.
legal director in consultation with the finance director, adjust the ordinance for an amount commensurate with the cost of living increase that the council has agreed on.
where is the, oh, that's this 25 here,
Yes,
which is the safety director plus the mayor.
right. But we're giving it all to the
Safety director,
safety director.
using the inflation amount.
There's a number in section 1 that would change that, right?
Yes.
What is that number? What will be that?
So we're basically doubling the safety director.
Yeah,
I probably,
I don't wanna commit to it, but I think it's about 57,000.
2026.
so there's 75 minus, and this was the 130. The 130 minus 75. 130 minus 75, that'll tell you what this safety director, or the mayor is right now.
Okay, so I made a motion. Does anybody
Okay,
say?
current mayor's salary is 55.
Jackie, do you say?
Yeah, sorry, I thought.
Oh,
we
I
had a
thought.
I seconded it already. I was waiting on you.
But I rephrased it, but I
Okay,
rephrased.
we know what the number is, 107,745 total, which means the safety directors goes up, how much?
Yeah.
25,245.
I know this seems like splitting hairs almost, but I think we need to take the mayor language out of it. Like, I think it needs to be,
We're gonna rewrite the
We're gonna
ordinance.
that's what I'm saying, I just wanna be clear,
We're
like,
just
I
gonna
wanna
make that the
differentiate
number
that.
though. Okay, we have the number. Steve will fix the language. We know what the number is.
And so are we voting just to amend it, or are we voting,
We're voting
It's
to
authorized
amend it.
me to draft the
And then
the
we'll
ordinance to
bring it
amend
back?
Yes,
No,
yes, no. You wanna bring it back after it's written?
we can amend it tonight, right?
You can, but I think the sense is you want people to see it, and it's all retroactive anyway. So you wanna get it right, I would recommend.
I mean,
All we're doing is changing the number.
I think we want to change the preamble as well, because,
So let's talk about the preamble.
I mean, it references the median salary of the Pepper Pike residents. That's not, the stated reason for the change is that there has not been an amendment to the compensation.
Right.
yeah, and I think I wanna see
Which
that all
is,
together.
which is the second line.
Oh, absolutely. This references the median salary, which is now an irrelevant statement.
Okay,
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, Steve.
Bring the
Shift
ordinance,
it to what the focus of the conversation is then tonight, bring it back and have it.
because it's a retroactive ordinance,
all right.
all the compensation will be paid. If you pass it next month, then everybody will be comfortable that it's in writing in front of them.
Do folks feel strongly about retroactive versus Jan 1, 2027 as an example?
Yes, because we've been talking about this for months.
Yeah.
And we have had, I think, some relatively unproductive conversations that haven't moved anything forward. And I think that, from the very first conversation we had, retroactivity was discussed. So that because we only meet twice a month, to give us time to flesh all this out,
Okay.
I do think it's important, and also I just think, and I know we don't wanna compare this position to private position too much, but anytime I've ever gotten a raise, it comes in the first quarter and it's retroactive to Jan 1. I feel like that's just a very standard piece.
And also, it took, just for example, it took longer this year for the union contracts,
Yeah, that's right.
but we retroacted all of those too. So, which is standard in the public sector. Okay?
there's a point here where I'm sensitive to the fact that right now the mayor is, in this discussion, our employee. And I feel like we have to be sensitive to treating our employee right. And it's the fact that it's taken us months to have this conversation. I don't know why the employee should suffer for it, for lack of a better way to put it. So,
Any other discussion? So we'll table this until the next meeting, the meeting thereafter.
Steve, do we need to pass this motion to amend?
Yeah, it should be a motion to authorize the law director
Yeah.
to.
All right,
Right now I have Schmidt and you seconded it.
and we'll call the roll.
That was the motion to amend.
Yeah, call the roll.
Mr. Schmidt,
yes.
Ms. Swords?
Yes.
Mr. Modi,
Yes.
Ms. Godek?
Yes.
Mr. LeVey?
Yes.
Mr. Gentili? Colonel Wilson?
Yes. All right, so now we have the motion to amend, we're done. And let's move on. Any more audience comments tonight? Anyone? All right, council, any council comments?
Yeah, I have one thing I'm gonna pass out. This is further, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is further to the discussion about the city hall renovation. And I went through the archives here and found, let me get it passed around first. I think I have enough. If I don't, I have one more.
Steve, do you want to?
I would-
Yeah, I have one.
Yep, it is. Most of you haven't seen this. This is the first proposal to renovate City Hall done 2 years ago in June 2024 by Paul Deutsch for Bialowski. And I just want to take a second, because to me, this is kind of the baseline renovation. It focused on two problems, and only two problems. One is ADA, getting that up to snuff, and expanding the council chambers. And just those two things. And so I want to just take a second, I want to belabor this, but go to page 3. So under this plan, they didn't tear down the entire council chambers, they just did an addition. In the front of it, you can see the grading area at the top of page 3. The changes to the front of it are remarkably similar to what the current plan is. Upgrading it, adding an elevator to solve the ADA issues. So that was the focus of this. So this does that. And then if you go just to page 5, Colonel Rice, you asked me how big a council chamber would you want? You asked me that last question.
Yeah.
And this is representative of that for me, 58 seats. So much smaller than is being proposed, because I think that is an adequate number. I think it would have all the upgrades for the electronics and other things, but a much more modest chamber than the 90 seats that's currently being proposed. And this one had some renovation, which I think we need to do in the offices, but not the massive renovation that's being proposed now, which is, I'm gonna guess it's half the budget, maybe 4 million just for the office side of that, putting aside the chambers and the community room down below the chambers. And just to flip a couple more pages on this, so there was some remodeling of the office areas, but not extensive. And then go to the back, just to get a little schematic and diagram. Back to the last page, I guess, page 14, just as a computer-generated picture of what the council chambers look like. I guess I just wanted you to have this. To me, this is kind of the baseline, because it solves the two problems with the greatest focus, that this chamber is old, outdated, probably not sized right, a little bit dysfunctional, it doesn't lend to electronics. That's a real problem to be solved, and of course the ADA, we all agree it's a problem to be solved. But the new plan goes way beyond that. To me, it's more of a kind of a wish list of everything. And and the original budget was 4 million, and now it's 8.5 million. And I understand the first one was just an estimate, but even a 30-year architect, and to have it be off by over 100% is a big surprise. And when we authorized them to do the plan, it was 4 million estimate, understanding that's a rough estimate, it's not a price tag, they got it fully. So I'm really struggling with the 4 million increase, and I'm really struggling with the office part of that, because if 4 million is about the number, if it's about half, and I'm guessing it is, just trying to piece it together, but we could ask Paul that question. It's only for 6 employees, and my reaction is all the administrative stuff that happens in the city is now being done. And the building isn't an impediment to accomplish that. ADA upgrade is an impediment of great accessibility. And I could argue that even this council chamber, because it's hard to make a presentation, we can't put electronics up on the wall, that's an impediment to effective council members. But the office renovation, I think we need to renovate the offices for sure. They're old, they're tired, they're not well put together. So I want to renovate them, but to go 4 million for that, if that's the cost of that, it's just, to me, it's wildly excessive. And I think there's cleverer ways to do that for less cost and still get good renovated space, because our employees need renovated space. I think there's a lot of wasted space on this floor and right below it in the basement that we can use better and not have to go the cost of opening the second floor, which is, I think, where the most of the cost is, looking at constructing that atrium outside, just so you can get stairs upstairs. And there's other ideas I have about, if you're gonna knock down this entire chamber, rather than open upstairs, just extend that hallway a little bit this way to provide more office space if you really need it. That, I think, is gonna be a much cheaper alternative than the plan that was called for before. So I just want everyone to have this as kind of a baseline. This is where we started. And I think we need something in between this and $8.5 million for this building. Yeah.
Well,
It might, a little bit more. 95% of our residents won't step foot in this building. Maybe 90%, but they have no reason to. And even if you're changing or building a house, it's mostly architects and contractors that come by and use the building and they leave. So I think we need to respect our taxpayers, respect their money, and really prioritize. I mean, when I was, I know Colonel Rush, you ran things. When I was running things, I put out a budget every year and it'd get slapped down and say, no, too much, cut it by 20%. And what you'd have to do is go prioritize. What do I really need? What do I really need with this? And I don't think that level of prioritization has been done yet, and we need to. So I would want the architect, I would propose that we make the architect, and Paul Deutsch offered this several times. He said, give me a budget, I'll design to that. Give me a budget. He said that 3 or 4 times. And I'd like to give him a budget of $4 million, which is the original estimate, and say, what can we get for $4 million? And force the hyper prioritization of what's really, really important. And I think that's the only way to do that. So I wanted to let everyone have this just as a starting point.
Could have had this done by now.
Why,
And this, oh, by the
why
way,
do
this,
you,
my scribbling on the front is my notes. So the cost of this deal was 1.3 million for construction and about 1.5 million, including all the soft costs. And that's that number right there. So obviously there's some inflation, so it would be 1.8 today. But you get this for 1.8, and that's solving the biggest problems. I'm sorry.
but there are, I have 2 things to say. The first is that as we've gone through this exercise, I become aware of some additional big problems beyond what was originally discussed here, the ADA access and the chamber size. And one big problem is the HVAC here is terrible and needs to be replaced, okay? And the other is that the campus design is awful, all right? And so I definitely would not want to take those away now that they're in scope. I love those, okay?
I'm sorry.
Wait, I'm not done. Now you don't
Okay, I'm
interrupt
sorry.
me.
You're right.
Okay,
My apologies.
so, and I'm not gonna, I don't mean to stop there, but there are other things that when we actually sat down and did a constructive needs analysis with our very professional staff directors, we did identify additional concerns and they have been accounted for. And that's why, yes, that's why the number is up. The all-purpose room, I also didn't know all the things that the staff need such a room for, and it would be taken advantage of if we had the space. So the next, so I'm careful to say that this is a good baseline. I'm not sure council knew enough when they asked for this baseline. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
And then my second comment is, how do you come up with 4 million? Why are you picking 4 million? Like, where does that come from?
Well,
We could get financing. We've got quite a bit of cash, but we don't want to use it all in one place. And we can get financing. How do you decide to stop just at 4 million? Why isn't it 8 million? I mean,
So 3 comments back. First of all, I love the campus stuff. Really cool on that stuff. The reorganization of traffic, that's brilliant. I don't want to, I'm really just talking about this building. That's my only focus on that. And so from a cost perspective, to me, it's value for the money, respecting our taxpayers. And can we accomplish what we need to accomplish here with much less, with not the size and extravagance of that first plan? Do we need to spend 8.5 million to get the functionality we're looking for? And I think there's better ideas. If we need addition, first, I would optimize the office space. Like, for example, the room Sheila's in, it's way too big for what she needs, that big counter and all that. There's wasted space there that could be reorganized and far better used with some careful space planning. Downstairs in the hallway that's under that part of the building, there's all kinds of rooms that old safe, for example, is wasted space, right? I don't think we've done a prioritization of the space that's there and maximizing the utilization of that. Before we talk about going upstairs, which is the huge expense that's driving this. When we revamped the police station 3 or 4 years ago, we had a space planner come in, and I don't know if it was Paul or someone else, but they hyper looked at every corner of that room to say, okay, do we have to build new, or can we just be more efficient with the space we have and really make it work? And they did make it work by just focusing on the space we have and putting it to its maximum use. And I don't think we've done that yet. And the 4 million it's a forcing function to make people prioritize. Whenever I was doing budget, I would look at all the projects and plans I wanted to accomplish in this year and ask for funding for all of them. And they would come back and say, no, you can't have that much money. You have to cut it by 20%, cut it by X million dollars. And the whole idea of that from my management was prioritize, prioritize, prioritize. What do you really need? What's most important? And I don't think we've gone through that exercise.
So I disagree. I think
Yeah.
that the architects did do the careful space planning as part of their design process already. And B, I have a confidence in our professional and very experienced tenured directors that they were careful to identify needs that would better serve the community. So we disagree. We just
Well,
disagree.
but if the cost of that is 4 million and it's 6 employees, that's $750,000 per employee. And there are metrics about office renovation per employee cost out there. They depend on various assumptions, but the rough calculation I did that this amount per employee, way over the top.
So, a couple points though. Number one, if we just do kind of a half renovation, which is what this would be.
No, I'm not
So,
suggesting that.
because as soon as, the HVAC alone is a big bill, because as soon, this thing, look what we have in here and through the building. Is what we need to do, we're gonna have to put in ducts,
I
which
agree.
means we have to tear ceilings, we have to tear walls. So, it's one of the, and it's a 40, we've said from the beginning, this is a 40 to 50 year project. So 40 to 50 year project is the time to go in and take everything down to the studs, because that's the only way we can really get the HVAC done and the efficiency of the building. And frankly, and the other thing is the geothermal, that's about 300K, but the payback is 10 years, which Tony, you and I are gonna disagree on that. That our ROI of 10 years for some business plan might not work, but an ROI of 10 years for a payback, I'm not gonna use ROI because it's in the renewable energy business, you use payback. 10 years is a very sweet spot. And anybody you talk to that's in renewable energy will say that, especially when you're in the public sector, because what you think about in the business is, well, I might sell a building, I might do this, I might change. We're not going anywhere. So a 10-year payback for renewable energy is really, really good. And, and we want to be a trendsetter, right? So
Well, let me comment. I think on the systems that needs to be done because they're old and decrepit.
they're terrible.
But, so I'm really not talking about that. I love the campus, the refund on the campus, I thought that was great. I agree, the systems that are old, they need to replace, they're inefficient. So I agree with you on that. What I'm not agreeing on is the degree of the office renovation and the cost of that is more than we need to be functional and efficient. And I just think we need to look harder at the efficiencies there before we spend the cost to build an atrium out here and refit the upstairs. Very small amount of space for a very big cost. And the one idea I had is if you're gonna redo this chamber, move this whole building this way and extend the building this way to get more space. So this hallway extends with office on either side. And the council chambers, there's plenty of room that way to just move them out. I think that's a plan that should be looked at as far more cost effective than opening the upstairs. Why not look at it?
So conceptually, and as I'm just thinking of process and decision making, Mr. Lay's got his ideas, actual tangible things. Me and my brain can't handle it. I'm not the architect. But I do like the idea of having options, or maybe, options. So we have option 1. It'd be great to have an option 2. I don't know the price tag on that, but at least an option.
So, I mean, we talked about the number, I mean, I've looked at how we would finance it, so, but we will not have to do anything village tax wise to finance a majority of the 9 million. And we have maybe 9 million, 7 million financed and 2 million in cash, so we finance 7 million. Doesn't hurt us cash wise, and we have the buffer without raising taxes, without raising millage. We have plenty of, we have money coming, open next year in the bond fund. We have the space to do it. And I think, you know, to Jackie's point, in 40 years, if we've spent 4 million on a Band-Aid or 9 million on a really good facility that takes us out for growth and anything else that could happen, I think, you know, I'm okay with going pretty big now, and just getting it done and turn it into a 40-year project instead of a $2 or $4 million Band-Aid.
I want a 40-year project too, and it's not a Band-Aid what I want, not at all. I want to have an efficient, up-to-date. But the cost of that, particularly opening the upstairs, is what's driving all these costs, and we don't need to do that. I think there's other ideas to work, if we need more space, office administratively, there's other ideas to do that that would be far more cost-effective.
All right, any more council comments? We're gonna cut that. You got something else?
I wanted to share inspirational photos of community center. Is this a good time to do that?
Sure.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
throw 'em
Yeah,
up
go
there.
ahead. We're at the end of the meeting.
For that before you.
Wait, is this a sarcastic shirt?
No, I wanna see
No.
it.
Oh, okay.
Go for it.
So,
All I was gonna say on that topic before we come in a little bit, I do think that regardless of the price tag and regardless of a lot of the things we've talked about here, like Jim's point of what's the prioritized list of just like, hey, this is probably like the number one thing, this is the number two, like, I think that would benefit us, I think that would benefit the residents. So I see no reason why we shouldn't at least have like one shared source of, you know, we wanna do 50 things, but like, here's how we would order them. And then when we do have to make trade-offs, we've kind of like already got that shared understanding of what we're working on.
Okay,
Can I plug in?
you got it now.
So we use that word Band-Aid in this conversation.
Should
I don't wanna
I
be-
lower the lights for this?
I don't, it's fine.
It might help me to see. Is anybody gonna object if I?
So we've thrown around words, community room, community center, community space. It means different things depending on who you're talking to or what you've seen. So this came up in our futures committee meeting. And I'll just give you a quick story. I had to go to a wedding this summer near Portland, Oregon. And one of the pre-wedding events was in a true community center, relatively new, in suburban Portland, Oregon, okay? And when I was standing there and partaking, it was amazing, because it was a nice indoor space and outdoor space, all integrated. Then my brain started thinking, as we reviewed in our committee, what did the county results say, county survey for our city? And the common theme has been, in this case, more community outdoor space, right? But I think as we're thinking about this project, my worry is we're gonna check a box when the community actually wants something else. Now, whether we could do something like this or not, dollar-wise, that's another question. But I wanted to show this just to get our brains around what true community center is, right? It's a nice outdoor space, right? Could it have a fitness facility inside? Many community centers do, right, such as this one. This is the indoor space where people have events. This is it empty. This is it with the birthday party, right? So I thought it was great. And then so close to home, right, we have Mayfield Village. think this is, I had trouble finding an indoor photo for that. You been in there, Alyssa?
I have
Is that
my,
accurate?
I have my bridal shower there.
Oh.
It's very nice.
Is that correct, that picture, Ron?
Yeah, I mean, that looks like the updated
Yeah.
one.
Beechwood has one.
That's correct.
And Mayfield Heights, I just learned, has one.
They have
Theirs
theirs
is
way
brand
up, yeah, that's off the charts.
So, what's the common theme here? It's a mix. I don't know if it's common. It's
None
a
of them-
desired theme.
None of them are in the basement?
None of them are low level, right? If we were doing lower level, I asked AI, what should lower level really look like? It's true indoor and outdoor transition space. Right? So I really think if we're gonna go all in on community room, then we should consider, should we go to a community center? And at least have that discussion. I do want to make an asterisk though, like, I don't want to hold up the city hall renovation project with this and getting sidetracked. It's just, we gotta talk about this at some point and decide if this is worth pursuing.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you.
So, yeah, the community, we're getting multi-purpose room downstairs, and, we can, I think he had a good idea, like the patio it up, like, he showed us the other day, but those two gentlemen in the corner are gonna use that room every day, they need that size, bigger than what we have now.
I think that's just like a different type of room, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, what's being proposed here is different than what they would use for meetings, and probably should be.
Just to clarify, I love hearing everybody's thoughts and the consideration that this is being given. I don't mean to speak for the other department heads at all, but things do change quickly. Just within the past, year or two, we now have a part-time HR head. With First Watch, we're gonna have somebody else that needs an office space as well, at least once a week or so. That could increase over time. I guess whatever you do now, just,
Don't shortchange
it
ourselves.
depends on how often we wanna do this exercise,
Yeah.
because
Never.
it could be something that lasts a long
Not in my
time,
lifetime.
and we're planning, like even with service, they had something done 5 years ago, they now have, many more pieces of equipment than they did because of all the pads and trails and everything else, so that wasn't accounted for at the time, but we can't always see, everything further than 5 years out and even less, so I know it's a lot to consider.
That's well put.
It was the first time we were involved in an exercise where we could give feedback and have it considered a master plan. So
Exactly right.
a lot of it does seem new, but it's not new to us.
Any other council comments? Motion to adjourn?
I just have one.
Oh, sorry.
Just that tomorrow I am attending the Rise of Mass Surveillance seminar put on by the ACLU. So it's basically about like their toolkit for as surveillance is increasing, what you can do, what you might want to consider. So I've asked that be brought on the agenda in a public manner for the first meeting in September, and I plan on bringing what I've learned from this session to that conversation.
All right, motion to adjourn again.
Well, I'm attending on Friday a tour of the water company's crib out in Lake Erie,
All right,
the water intake.
hopefully it's not.
I'll report back on that.
It's the city of Cleveland, it's not just water.
Yes, yeah. Assuming I make it back safely.
All right, I hear a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're adjourned. Stand.
Is this next time? Yes. Makes it clear with the body that they have nothing for the second reading.
No.